Welcome to this beautiful Saturday morning. We got a fantastic property tour for you. This is going to be an amazing project. I'm super excited to go over this. When I was telling Marshall, I said, man, this is great. We've never done a project like this from the sense of where this project was when we got started and from the standpoint of where it is now. You know, I'm a fix and flipper. That's what I do. I've been flipping houses for over 15 years. I've done over 400 properties, but I have never done one like Marshall's doing today. So I'm really excited that he's going to share that with us today. Let me go over this real quick, guys. I'm going to show you, there's 4 things we're going to talk about today, okay? There's 4 things. We're going to talk about how to find properties, how to fund them, how to fix them up, and then flip them. All right, this is going to be the top of our conversation today because we're talking about a fix and flip. And really, I have 2 questions for you. As we talk about this, if this is our subject matter, here's going to be my question for you throughout the day. Number 1, you're here for a reason. I don't know why you're here today. You're here because you want to learn to invest. There's 2 questions that you've got to answer. The first question is, can I do it? That's the first question you've got to answer. You've got to watch this. You've got to watch whatever brought you here today. You've got to answer the question for yourself. Can I do this business? Can I go out and follow a system just like Marshall has done, just like Kendall has done, just like others have done? Can I do it is the first question we've got to answer. Second question that you got to find out is, if you can do it, if you are going to do it, is it worth it? Can I do it, and is it worth it? I like to combine those 2 together, and I call this CDEWE, right? CDEWE, can I do it? Is it worth it? That's what we're here to discuss today. I'm going to just be bold-faced up front with you guys and tell you, we're here to sell you today. We've got an educational package that is second to none. It'll absolutely knock your socks off. Marshall is a participant in the education. He's a product of the product. He's a student. He's going out there working on things. And I'll tell you what, there's 2 different educational packages. Our education ranges anywhere from $2,000 all the way up to $25,000, depending on how you get funded on your education. And it is worth every single penny, in my opinion. But that's what you've got to decide. Can I do it? Is it worth it? So know that we've got educational packages anywhere from $2,000 all the way up to $25,000. I decided to get started at the $25,000 package, and you'll learn why a little bit later. But where you get started is 100% up to you. You know, I remember when I first saw this, I'm like, I want to do this, but I don't have the money. Well, it's not that I had a money problem. I had an idea problem. So I'm going to encourage you, as you watch this presentation today, as we learn from Marshall and see what he's going through on this property, just ask yourself, can you do it, and is it worth it? And if so, then you deserve to sit down and schedule a follow-up with the person who invited you down here today. Let's schedule a follow-up. Let's get your questions answered, because you know what? Most people don't have the money just sitting in their checking account. We help them to find the resources to jump in and do this business. But enough about that. Let's jump into the property. Let me introduce you to Marshall Stanek. Marshall, you're out in Lakeside, I believe, is where the property is located.
Lakeside, California, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Now this is an amazing, amazing project. Marshall, give me a little bit about what's your background prior to joining the community and becoming a real estate investor. What did you used to do?
I was a director of sales for professional service companies and high-tech companies for about 25 years in sales before that. I had no knowledge of really how to do real estate, but had dabbled in it. I had read the old Carlton sheets, and there was another guy who was like, no money down, you know, creative financing, and said, this is cool because I'm an analytic, and you know, that sounded, to put these kind of projects together sounded fun, right? But still really never did anything. Flipped a house in Rochester, Minnesota, probably, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago now. That was successful. Then I did another one that was totally unsuccessful, probably lost $20,000 on that one. Then eventually, more recently, spent $25,000 on a tax deed and lien investing course. I mean, it was a great course, but bottom line, at the end of the day, I had to go do it myself. And I made some money and lost some money. One project, you know, one deed alone, I lost $10,000. So I count that as $35,000 of education, right? 25 for the book learning and the coaching, and then another 10,000 for learning what not to do. So that's where I was really, I'll say, gun shy of how to do this successfully, and how I found and got introduced into the whole community with other investors who were doing this. And I said, if I've got people looking over my shoulder, and that's this project as an example, then I'm going to be more successful. I'm going to be more confident to be able to take the action, and we're going to be able to start doing this thing. And so that's just kind of what brought me to here. And that's where the education gives me the resource to go learn it on my own. But at the same point, I can reach out to people and say, hey, this is what I'm planning to do. Am I missing anything? And now they're willing to have that, or they love having those kind of conversations, because it's like, yeah, if they can keep somebody else from making a mistake, they're happy to do that, right? And that sharing of knowledge has been valuable.
Well, we do love having these conversations, and that's what today is. Today is a conversation where we're going to discuss a couple of things here. Oh, I got to put my whiteboard back up. I want to show you guys. Here's what we're going to discuss. I showed you earlier. Let's talk about find, fund, fix, and flip. So Marshall, tell us a little bit about this project behind us. Let's talk about, how did you find it? How did you fund it? And maybe you can walk us through and show us a little bit, and we'll bring some of these questions up. But I love how you found this deal, because guys, this is amazing. Marshall, he's a sophisticated investor. He spent a lot of money educating himself and learning on the process. So obviously the way he found this deal, none of us have access to. It's going to be super high level technological software program that found this deal. Is that the way you found this deal, Marshall?
Absolutely. I had to go and get some creative software, and it cost me a large amount of money. And that's why Craigslist is still my favorite place. Now, what happened is, I mean, honestly, I didn't even find this. I didn't even find this.
Craigslist. The deal was found on Craigslist.
Yeah, it was Craigslist. High tech, very expensive software. It really narrows down on the properties, and it was my learning partner, right? I had gone into the whole education with a learning partner. You saw him walking down the steps here. Judd and I were doing this together, because it was like, okay, if we do it together, we're gonna, be more confident than if we each do it ourselves. So we came together. We've been, doing the education, and now we've been evaluating properties. Well, he was looking in his sources. I was looking in my sources. He came up with this Craigslist ad that this guy had a project and was looking for some joint venture. And so he contacted the guy, and we started to meet here and talk, and we vetted and went through a process, and even had, when we were here one time looking at this project, even Darren Davis, who's in the community, he came by and took a look at this project, because he was in the area. He happened to be down here, and said, hey, would you take a look? And he said, sure. And he swung by and he walked through it with us and asked questions. And so that's where it just increased our confidence day after day as we were evaluating this, and we put the joint venture together. But yeah, we found this on Craigslist, and we're doing this job with somebody we've never met before.
Man. So you find a property on Craigslist, right? You manage a joint, you're able to put together a joint venture agreement. You got to vet everybody, make sure everybody's above board of what's going on. But what was the situation on this house? Because I can see that, like, this is new construction, but sort of looks like it's not brand new construction. What was going on with the situation when you guys came across this deal?
So this was the property owner actually does a lot of development, and this was kind of a project in between some development, but it was a house that burned down. The prior owner, I think, had some plans, but really hadn't done anything. So he bought the property and the plans, and he started to build this, and then stopped. He just got distracted with some other stuff. So it sat here open for 2 years. So you can see there's paper on the roof right now. He had put boards up on the roof. He had the roof board, plywood on the roof, but he hadn't put any paper on it. So for 2 years, the rain just dripped through, and the subflooring was like sponge. I mean, if you weren't careful where you walked, you could put your foot right through the floor. So that's the condition that we got this thing, because it's been sitting there for 2 years, but we were able to get it at a good price for what we know we can make the project happen with. So it was like, all right. And Judd and I both put in funds. So we were able to fund this together. And we're funding this ourselves with our own private capital. And then my LLC is providing the construction loan, which we're going to do interest and points on. And so I'll be generating income from the construction loan, which is my LLC's funds. So Walter, who's the project lead on this, basically has contractor experience and is, managing the whole project. He's done over 50 to 100 projects. I mean, this guy has done a lot. We've gone through his whole portfolio. We've looked at the history on the deals, and Out of those, I mean, and Kendall, you can relate to that. He's lost money on one, and it was simply because it was in a probate situation, and the family just wouldn't release it, even based on the options and all the legal that he had in place. It just ended up being more than he wanted to try to salvage, and so that's the only one that he maybe lost, I don't know, $20,000 on. But all the other projects have all been profitable. So that gave me a track record of confidence with him.
So you're able to put together joint venture agreements. So you've got, so the cool part about our education, guys, is it's not just available for one person, it's available for two people. So you've got Marshall and his learning partner, Judd. Judd
Right.
found the deal on Craigslist. You guys came together, you pooled your funding, and you guys purchased this house. And then you, out of your LLC, you're lending the funding for the construction loan. So let's talk about numbers for a little bit. Everything in this business, everything in the world of real estate investing starts with the end in mind. Marshall, before you bought this house, you had to have taken into consideration, hey, here's our strategy is we're going to fix it and flip it. But you had to have taken into consideration how much you can sell the house for, correct?
Correct.
So everything starts with the after repair value. If you guys were there on Wednesday night, we went over this. You start with the after repair value, and then you subtract out your rehab cost. You subtract out all your carrying costs, your closing costs, your construction costs, everything. And you get with, and then you develop your profitability and come up with your purchase price. Well, let's talk about the ARV, Marshall. When you are done with this house, before we go through the whole walkthrough, I want to give these people the opportunity to see what kind of an income potential they're looking at here. So your
I'm
ARV,
just getting in the shade.
yeah, no problem. Is it a little warm out there today?
Oh yeah.
It is warm. I actually just turned on the air conditioner in my office, so. You know, I will send my cool air your direction, my friend.
Fantastic.
Okay, so let's talk about the ARV. Conservatively, what do you think you can sell this house for when you're done, based on the comps?
Based on all the comps that we ran, all the different properties in the area, similar and unsimilar, we believe we can sell this for $700,000, and yet know that the numbers work at $650,000. So it's kind of like, that's how we know we'll still make profit at 650, but we believe we can sell it at 700. So that gives us a little bit of maneuvering if the market starts to slide a bit.
Okay, so 700,000 ARV, your construction costs, because you've got to basically finish building this home. What do you calculate your construction and carrying cost to be on this project?
The budget right now is 163,000 for construction, and that's built into the JV for the partner Walter to get his full funding. Is we need to hit that. We got a little margin for error there, but that's right now 163 is what we're targeting.
Okay, 163,000, and
Yep.
then you are looking for. And so let's just reveal the purchase price, and then let's talk about the profitability here. So how much were you able to negotiate the purchase of this project for?
We got this for 350.
So $350,000 was your purchase price. You're into it 163,000. That's going to be your construction and everything. So you're into this thing $513,000 with a resale price potential of $650,000 to $700,000. So just using the simplest of math, folks, you're looking at what kind of a profitability? $137,000 to $187,000 of profit? Holy cow. Ladies and gentlemen, can you do this? Can you get access to Craigslist? Can you vet yourself and figure out what to do? Now, Marshall's going to walk us through the project. He's going to show us what's going on, but can you do it? Is it worth it? We are looking here at a potential profit of $140,000, guys, on the low end, all the way up to $190,000 on the high end. Would that be worth it? Well, Marshall, take us through, walk us through this property, share with us what needs to be done on this thing. I'm going to go ahead and pull myself off of camera here. Let me go ahead so that we've got full screen to what you've got going on. But this is the kind of work that needs to be done. Walk us through this, Marshall.
Well, I'm starting on the outside because we just finished this. This was a little bit of a setback. You'll see along the bottom line, there's some new wood. And that was because as they were working on the subfloor, you can see there's all new subfloor through here. Like I said, it had been rotted, so we had to pull it out and put down new flooring. This, we found there was some rotting underneath this porch. So they opened it up, actually had to lift the house slightly, rip out all the bad wood, put new wood in, bring it back down, level it all, and re-brace it. So that was a little bit of a 2-day setback, but we're otherwise still on schedule. We were supposed to be putting drywall up as of Friday, but they pretty much just had finished that extra work. So you can see we're pretty much ready to get the inspectors in here. And that's really the next piece, is finish this so we can get the inspectors in. And we're going to test the water in the pipes, and then we can keep going. But let me show you out through this window. This is where the house had burned down. The original house on this property burned. The owner again got new plans, and then the people we bought it from had taken that over and just had never really finished it. So there's already kind of a foundation here. You can see they shifted from where they were to where it is now. And so you want to just walk through here. We got a kitchen area here.
Hey,
One
Mark,
of the things
let me ask you a question real quick. As I'm looking at this, the question, it makes me wonder, like, how much of this was already there and how much did you have to do? Like, did you have to come in and wire everything and run the HVAC and run the plumbing?
No, see, that's the beauty, is wiring was already done, plumbing was already done. In fact, we took some stuff out. You'll see right here is, as I'm standing in the kitchen, there's this wood piece right here. There was a whole nother closet. This was a coat closet, but it just blocked the view. I mean, if I'm standing in the kitchen, I want to see this whole view, right? So that was one of the things that Walter had said is, hey, let's take this out and open up the view. And so he's giving us some guidance on resale and also what's viable for construction. But you can see, again, we did have to pull out the subfloor. So there was some deconstruction before we could actually get on with the construction. So this house already had it wired. It was already plumbed. You can see the electrical sockets and all the switching and all of that's done. There was actually new vinyl windows in this that we have pulled. We're pulling all the vinyl windows out, but putting them back in again with new flashing. So we didn't have to buy any new windows. Everything was vinyl windows, and we're just starting to sheet up the outside. But most of this construction was done. Now, the project I alluded to in Ramona, we had squatters in there. That place was vacant for 5 years. They ripped out all the wire. So we're gonna have to totally rewire that place. Whereas here, it's already wired, already plumbed. All we're having to do is just kind of get it back to a status that allows us to continue the construction. I'm now standing in the master bedroom. And you can see there's the master bath with shower and toilet area. There's a walk-in closet with an unbelievable view out those windows. And then we've got another bathroom. This bathroom will serve the upstairs kitchen and guests and so on, but another nice sized bedroom with a full walk-in closet for them as well. So there's 2 bedrooms on this floor, 2 bathrooms on this floor, and then a bedroom and a bathroom downstairs. You can see.
Okay, so I'm sitting here watching you and I'm like, man, Marshall, how do you have the confidence to do this? You were a sales project manager. I mean, you were a sales trainer for years. How did you come to the point that you're comfortable? You're not a contractor. I mean, how did you come to the point that you're comfortable doing this type of a project? This is extensive.
Well, this was key for me because as I looked at these and knowing that my wife was also going to be participating, I needed to have that confidence. And so finding Walter, who had the history of doing the projects that he had done and vetting that, I sit at home and he calls me once a day and says, here's what's going on. Here's what we're doing today. And that's when he called me and he's going, oh man, I'm freaking out. We just found some stuff. You can see that there's some, wood that we're evaluating right now, right here along this edge. And it's kind of like, we're going to have to rip this out. It's bad. And he was all distraught. And yet at the same point, he's the one that figures this stuff out. So he uses Judd and me as kind of sounding boards to kind of say, all right, here's what I'm facing. Here's what I'm projecting we can do. I think we can do it this way. I'm going to talk to this person. So this is why we're willing to pay him 40%. He's doing all the work. He's got the experience. You can see right here, every day he comes in and says, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do today. Every day he's got a job list for the guys that are working on this place. And he's got 2 of his workers that act, if you will, as foremen, who make sure that when he's not here, because he's out running and getting materials, he just says, here's the jobs today. Make sure this is getting done. And he goes out and gets materials. He goes out and does other things. He's still looking for other properties. So it's having other people do the work. And that's what I love.
Man, that's amazing. That is amazing. So share with me what's going on. Why the white paint on the bottom? Because you said this had been exposed for a while. It had been exposed to the elements, right?
Right. This is simply this is a mold prevention paint or a coverage paint. I don't know the exact terminology. You only need to go up about 18 inches. He takes it up 24 inches. And it's just to make sure that if there's any kind of mold that might be in that lower portion of the boards, because they sat for a couple of years and got wet, that doesn't impact anybody. So all of this is being done. The story here is we found out that it was a brand new air conditioning unit. And so we thought, hey, whoopee, we're good, right? And then we found out that this air conditioning unit, even though it's brand new, could be up to 10 years old. And so we're gonna pull it down, store it for a future project, and put a new unit in here.
Man, that is awesome. That is awesome. All right, now continue. Walk us through. Show us that view again. I kind of interrupted you. You were walking out on the balcony.
All right. Yeah, let me go out here.
And I interrupted you, but this is part of what's going to give you that $650,000 to $700,000, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a money shot. I say this is $1 million view. And this is the same, we've got a view like this in the Ramona house. So again, when we show that one, you'll see that for whatever reason, we're getting certain similarities. One is view, one is wine, and one is unfinished new construction. So both the new projects are all three of those conditions.
My goodness. So let me ask you, Marshall, is it worth people's time to come check us out on Wednesday? We start a conversation today. Is it worth people's time to come see what Renatus has to offer?
I want to flip it around so you can see my eyes. Yes. I mean, I have never seen any way that anybody can have the confidence to be able to do this without having the community and this education. You know, I've gone on, Connected Investors and Bigger Pockets, and you can watch blogs, and there's all kinds of, you know, people that are saying that they can teach you things, but nowhere can you get all the information from the leaders in each of these. Each person is an expert, and that's what I love. It's like when you taught the fix and flip course, when it was yours, you had done it and you were still doing it. And that's what's your primary. And I want to learn from the people who are experts and still doing it, not experts 5 years ago and now teaching you how to do it today. Do you think that this condition with the whole quarantine and stay at home and all of this is going to impact and shift the market? I mean, Kendall, do you think this is something that's going to impact us? And how do you adjust? How do you adjust in real time for the kinds of things that we're going to see, right? You got to have a lot of eyes watching what's going on and a lot of background and understanding. And so again, no, there's no place you can get this kind of value based on just the access to people and knowledge. You know, doing projects like this, you know, you don't have to have the money. You find the project and the money will find you. But you have to know how to package that project. You need to know how to present that so people want to be a part of it. So how do you do that? You learn from the courses. I mean, as I was telling you earlier, the two biggest ones for me out of the Essentials program, the beginning $2,000 program, was simply, how do I do creative financing? How do I negotiate? What are the real estate red flags? Those are just 3 of them. I'm also doing this, some of this money is being invested through one of the other LLCs, which is part of my self-directed 401k. So there's, again, different, you know, learning how to raise the money, learning how to negotiate. You know, we had to go through a process of back and forth to do the JV. How did we find this? You know, how did we create it? Well, I'm doing the construction loan as one piece, but I'm also, you know, putting half the money in for the other piece to buy the property. The red flags, what do I need to make sure that I'm looking for so that I'm not making mistakes? So just not making mistakes is going to save you money.
Well, and that's the thing is, even with all of this information, you're still going to make mistakes, guys. We're not saying that we can eliminate that you're never going to make a mistake, but my gosh, why not learn from all of the mistakes other people have made so that you can try to avoid them? But just like you find, you haven't made mistakes on this property, but you step into unknowns. You step into things that maybe you didn't originally find on the first walkthrough. But right. My goodness, what a powerful, powerful story to have access to a community, to have access to folks that can help look at this project with you, to give you the confidence. Man, I am stoked. This is an exciting project. You're looking at a potential 140,000 plus profitability on this to be split amongst you and your partnership as you guys deemed. But the other exciting part is this isn't the only one you're doing. Tell us a little bit about the project. You mentioned it just briefly, but tell us a little bit about the project in Ramona.
Yeah, I'll try to get a teaser out on that one. We're going to close on that one. It's a short sale next Friday.
I'm
So
going
on
to have you
Friday,
spin around, Marshall. You just went dark because you got the light window behind you.
there we
There we
go.
go. There we go.
Thank
Now we
you.
can see that.
No, we're pretty excited about this one. It's a short sale in Ramona. It's a 3-story concrete construction. I mean, it's got 7-inch concrete walls. No one's shooting through them. So we're going to actually probably, when we go to sell this thing, look at sustainability. You know, it's kind of like going after the preppers. You know, if you want a safe house, you know, we'll have generator in it, and you can be self-sufficient. You don't have to worry about these kinds of, you know, big crises happening. You're going to have a self-sustaining location that's beautiful. So that one is, we're going to be getting that. Our short sale price is $250,000. All the properties in that area are selling for $650 or more. We're going to be, because it's a 3-story, beautiful view, like you'll see. We expect that we can get that $850 for that. So we're buying it for $250. We should be able to get $850. And we're now trying to work on what the construction budget is, because it's also new, unfinished new construction, but it's been sitting idle for over 5 years. It actually had in 2018 a drug bust. The SWAT team circled the house, fired tear gas through the windows to get out a narcotics. It was a lady and a guy. She was arrested for weapons and he was arrested for narcotics. I mean, so the story on this is awesome. There's still a mattress with drug needles down in the basement. So this is an amazing place. But what happened, this is where the twist came. I was looking to just, you know, buy it and flip it. There's a couple, 3 different exit strategies we were looking at, short-term and long-term. But my wife said, our house is too tight. And at that price and where that is, and because it's got a huge, beautiful view like this one does, she says, why don't we move into it? And I'm just going, oh, geez. So we're going to end up right now, what we're doing is we're going to be somewhere, the budget's going to be somewhere between $250,000 and $350,000. So let me give you some of these numbers. So we bought it at $250,000. We know we can sell it for $850,000. But again, even if we sell it for $650,000, which is all the other ones in that area, our in cost is $250,000 to $350,000 is our budget for that property, depending on how upscale we go or what we decide to do. But we're going to end up moving in and living there for at least a couple of years, because that has some tax advantages and we need the space. We have a daughter moving back from college. We've got our other daughter still has another year before she starts her master's program, and our mother-in-law is living with us. And so we're right now in a very cramped, nice house in Poway, but still 1-story, you know, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet. We're going to be moving to something that's more like 4,500 square feet, and we're going to put a granny flat in it and a couple of extra garages and an ADU. So it's going to be a pretty expansive project, but we'll start, we'll close that next week and we can start doing some walkthroughs there. So you can see that one.
Oh my gosh, guys. Did you hear the transformation? I mean, used to be a sales manager, and now listen to him. Just listen to the way he's talking. Listen to this. I guarantee you they didn't teach him this in sales. He's learned this through the educational system. He's out there implementing it, making it happen, buying properties for $250,000 that are worth $850,000 after repaired. Now you got to put a lot of money into it.
Yeah,
But
it's a big project.
again, it goes back to the 2 questions. Can I do it? Is it worth it? Marshall, at one point you had to answer those 2 questions, didn't you?
Yes. And I'm slow, right? I'm a slow learner. I am cautious. And so it took me a couple of years for me to kind of get involved. And the more I've gotten involved, the more I'm able to tell others and say, look, you can do this. You can do it faster. Here's how we can help you shortcut that. And that's where I want to help others be able to start participating in this. And I'm looking for ways to be able to help do that. And this is just one of them. I want to share what I'm doing. I want to give people confidence. You know, there's another business that I've started with some other partners, and people have been watching it and watching it and watching it. And once I showed them one time how easy that was, they go, all right, we want to do it too. We can't see any way that we can really lose big on that. We want to do this. And it's the same thing. It's like, if people see it and they can believe it, now they're going to start to do something. And it's the action taking that, you know, I'd made some, you know, some attempts, made some offers, tried to do some stuff. And all of that was building up to where I am now. All of a sudden, in a short period of time, I'm buying notes. We're doing unfinished new construction. Most people are scared of that. And it was like, I'd done enough preparation where now I can just really go full blast. It's that, I don't have the quote down like Bob Snyder does, but it was kind of like, you know, when the rewards start coming, when the prizes start coming, when things start to flow, you've wondered where they've been hiding all your life. And it's the preparation that meets opportunity that creates luck.
Oh my gosh, so awesome. Yeah, you're referencing a quote from Napoleon Hill, you
Yep.
know, and it's from the book Think and Grow Rich. So my gosh, Marshall, thank you so much for opening up your project today. Thank you for walking us through and sharing. Folks, I told you in the beginning, we're here. I'm just going to tell you right up front, we're here to sell you. We're here to sell you on an opportunity, to sell you on our educational system, to invite you to come participate in what it is we're doing. I'm going to put up a link. I'm going to invite you guys to join us on Wednesday night. Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to jump more into these educational services that we've talked about tonight. We're going to say, hey, how do you gain access to them? Today, we just barely hit on it. We sort of mentioned that, hey, we've got education. Yeah, we do. And we're going to continue that conversation on Wednesday. There's going to be a Zoom link that just populated. That's where we're going to be Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. You deserve to show up and continue to do the investigation and find out, hey, can I do this? Is this worth it? Think about it. If you did one project like this, one project, how would your life change? What if you were able to do 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and then continue? Folks, now more than ever, you deserve to take control of your financial future. There's so much uncertainty in the world. You can either choose to work for yourself and make yourself wealthy or work for somebody else. How many millions of people have learned that there's no such thing as job security? You deserve to learn the systems, to step in, play this game just like Marshall's playing, just like I'm playing, and many, many others. Wednesday night, we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to interview other successful investors. We're going to show you our education, how it works. If you're saying, yeah, but I don't have the money, well, my gosh, welcome to the club. Most people that get started with us don't have the money. We don't ask that. It's not part of the qualification process. Hey, do you have the money to get started? Nope. It's the drive. Can you do it? Is it worth it? Because when the why is big enough, the how is going to figure itself out. So Marshall, thanks again. Judd, I see you in the background. What's up, Judd? Thanks for being with us. Thanks for sharing your house with us. Guys, what a fantastic tour.
I got one other thing, one other thought that just hit me. And the thing is this whole thing was done over a phone and computer. Yeah, it's nice that I can walk here to Lakeside and walk through this thing, but I'm telling you, there's nothing about what we just did that we can't do anywhere in the United States, you know, if you put the right pieces in place. So while we're all stay at home, this is the best time to start making money with a computer and a phone, right? What are you doing in your spare time? Watching Netflix, or you're going to get, educated for when this is all over?
Right? I mean, think about it. Think about how he found the deal. You found it via Craigslist.
And a partner who is looking, so it's like just communicate, build relationships, create a network, and things will just come to you.
You know, guys,
I just put so you know, I just put this out to you and a bunch of other people. I just came across a pool of 20 rental properties in Akron, Ohio. It's like, okay, I got 20 rental properties in Akron, Ohio. If somebody wants to joint venture on that, we got stuff, right? So it's like, how do you find this stuff? Well, you network. You find who's doing what, and you start to talk and you start to share information. But you got to get educated, because someone says, okay, I want to know more about it. It's like, well, do you have the money? Do you have the knowledge of what to do? What are you going to contribute? So these are the things that, again, I'm jumping back in here, but man, I can't tell you what it means to have the resources that this all is providing. And you got to learn more so you know what you're getting. So thanks, Kendall, for hosting this.
No, Marshall, thank you for coming out and participating. I'm just writing down on the board here what you're talking about. We call it an epic solution. Education, properties, income, and community. Folks, this is what we're all about. This is the epic solution, is what we participate here. That's what we want to invite you guys to learn more about on Wednesday night. So Marshall, again, congratulations to you and Judd. I'm hoping we can do another tour, a couple of tours, as this project continues to progress. We're looking forward to seeing Ramona. Folks, we got investors all over the country, all over Southern California, all over California. So with that, folks, congratulations for being here this morning. We're going to let you get back to your Saturday. You see the Zoom link. I look forward to seeing you guys wherever you're calling from. It's 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock California time on Wednesday night. The Zoom link is there. Guys, we will see you then. Congratulations and make it a great day. See you later.